chosen one. Pause and listen. Heaven itself has echoed with the sound of your name. It was not whispered. It was not hidden. It thundered through the courts of glory. When God calls, creation trembles. And today that call is over you. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Written before time began. Imagine a vast hall of light. Angels positioned like living flames, awaiting a signal. Suddenly, a scroll is opened, and among countless names, yours rise, glowing like fire, inked across eternity. In that moment, heaven releases angels assigned to you, messengers carrying strength, direction, and covering. The world may see you as ordinary, but heaven sees the chosen. There was once a young woman, a chosen one, who felt buried beneath the silence of unanswered prayers. For years she waited, while doors closed and people walked away. She felt invisible, but what she did not see was that heaven had not forgotten her. One night, in the stillness, she heard a whisper deep inside. Your name is written here. That night, everything shifted. She was reminded that waiting is not abandonment, it is preparation. And like her, you too are in that place where silence has been stretching your faith, not breaking it. You see, when heaven calls your name, it does not sound like the applause of men. It does not echo in social circles or worldly platforms. It is a sound that pierces the soul. It strips away excuses. It awakens purpose. It interrupts your ordinary. That is what is happening now. Heaven has pressed pause on everything, so you hear this one truth. You are chosen, and the angels have been released. Chosen one. This call is weighty. Do you remember how often you questioned why the burden on your life felt heavier than others? It is because you were not crafted to blend in. You were crafted to carry light. The enemy has tried to drown you in discouragement. But even in your weakest moments, something inside you refused to die. That is destiny's fire. That is heaven's signature within you. Think of a lighthouse standing against violent seas. Storms crash. Winds howl. Waves beat against its foundation. But the light still cuts through the darkness. That is you, even when surrounded by chaos. The light within you refuses to be swallowed. And because your light terrifies darkness, angels have been released to ensure you do not fall. The Word of God declares in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7, "The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and He knows those who trust in Him." This is more than comfort, it is covenant. God Himself has called you by name, and He has marked you as one He knows. One He shelters. One He strengthens. The angels released are not strangers. They are guardians sent because heaven recognizes you. So hear me. As heaven calls your name, step forward in faith. Do not shrink back. Lift your head. For the angels of the Lord encamp around those who fear Him. Lift your hands, for your season of hiding has ended. And lift your voice, declare that you are ready to walk in the fullness of your calling. Right now, I invite you, if this resonates deep in your spirit, comment below with the number 777 as a prophetic sign that you receive heaven's summons. Let the act of writing it be your agreement with the angels released on your behalf. And if this message has stirred your heart, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so that more chosen ones like you can awaken to their call. Your name was called in heaven, and the earth will soon see the evidence. Chosen one, you are marked by fire, long before you ever felt the weight of this calling, long before people noticed anything different about you. Heaven had already sealed you with something invisible yet undeniable. Fire has always been God's language of consecration, burning bushes, fiery altars, tongues of flame descending at Pentecost. And now, that fire rests upon you, though the world may not see it. There is a mystery about fire. It both destroys and refines. It consumes what is impure, yet it strengthens what is true. That is why your journey has felt heavier than most. Every trial, every misunderstanding, every season where you felt pressed beyond measure was not random. It was fire shaping you into a vessel heaven could trust. There was once a man, Akiet Servant, who felt that every opportunity slipped through his hands. He labored faithfully, but doors kept shutting. What others could obtain easily, he had to wrestle for with tears and prayer. Yet one day he read the words spoken to the prophet Zechariah, "I will be a wall of fire all around her, and I will be the glory in her midst." Suddenly he realized the resistance he felt was proof that he was surrounded by God's fire. His story is a mirror of yours. The fire does not isolate to punish, but to preserve the treasure heaven placed within. Think of gold in a furnace. At first it looks dull, mixed with impurities, but when fire touches it, the dross rises and is skimmed away. What remains glitters with purity and worth. That is your soul. Chosen one, heaven saw the weight you were destined to carry, and fire was necessary to make sure you would not shatter under it. Your seasons of waiting and betrayal, they were all moments in the furnace. You might have asked, "Why me? Why so long?" The answer is not that God abandoned you, but that he trusted you to withstand what others could not. Fire has marked you as one who carries the fragrance of heaven. That is why some cannot understand you. That is why your presence unsettles atmospheres. Consider another image, a candle in a dark room. The wax melts, but the flame remains, pushing back shadows. You may feel like parts of you have been melting, dreams delayed, relationships lost, but the fire on you has never gone out. Instead, it has burned brighter in the night. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 5, "For I, says the Lord, will be a wall of fire all around her, and I will be the glory in her midst." This is not symbolic, only it is literal in the spirit. The fire is your shield. It wards off attacks you never saw. It separates you from snares that would have trapped your feet. It surrounds you so that when the enemy approaches, he sees not you, but flame. So, when you wonder why you feel the heat, remember this: fire is your seal, not your punishment. Fire has preserved you when compromise would have destroyed you. Fire has purified your motives so that when the fullness of your calling is revealed, you will walk in it without corruption. Chosen one, you are not just surviving fire, you are carrying it. It goes with you wherever you step, igniting faith and declaring to the powers of darkness that you belong to heaven. Chosen one, every tear has been recorded. Not one drop of your sorrow slipped unnoticed into the soil of time. Heaven gathered them, each tear, though invisible to others, became a testimony written in the books of eternity. You thought they vanished into silence, but in truth, they were seeds. and seeds in the hand of God never remain buried forever. There was a man who walked through nights so heavy that he would cover his face with his hands just to muffle the sound of his weeping. Friends thought he was fine, but his pillow carried the truth. He once whispered, "Does anyone even see this pain?" What he did not know was that angels stood watch at his bedside. The cries he thought dissolved into the air rose before God as incense. And years later, when breakthrough came, he realized that every silent tear had been preparation for harvest. His story mirrors yours. Your tears have not been wasted. The scriptures remind us in the book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8, "You number my wanderings. Put my tears into your bottle. Are they not in your book?" Can you imagine this? God does not discard your pain. He collects it. He records it. He transforms it. Every hidden ache becomes a line in the symphony of your destiny. You may have thought you were forgotten, but heaven has been writing your story with the ink of your tears. Think of rain striking dry earth. At first it disappears, soaking quickly into the ground. But in time, buds begin to push through the soil. Your tears are that rain. They have softened the ground of your life so that seeds of glory can rise. Without the rain, the harvest could not come. Without your tears, the depth of your compassion and authority would not exist. And hear this: the darkness that tried to drown you underestimated the God who bottles tears. The enemy thought the weight of sorrow would break you, yet it only made you unshakable. You now carry an authority that cannot be bought, authority forged through nights of anguish. Others may see your smile today, but heaven knows the cost behind it. Chosen one. You may wonder, what do I do with all I've endured? The answer: let it fuel your obedience. The very tears you thought were weakness are proof of your strength. They show you survived what should have destroyed you. They are evidence that you are still standing, still chosen, still destined. And now, I ask you to do something simple yet prophetic. Write these words below: I still stand. End of T. Why? Because when you declare it, you turn your tears into testimony. You remind the powers of darkness that they did not win. You remind your own soul that fire did not consume you. Storms did not sweep you away. Rejection did not erase your name. And you invite others who read your comment to see that survival is possible, that glory rises from ashes. Every tear has been gathered. Every moment of silence has been heard. And the pages of heaven now shine with your story. Chosen one. Your tears are not your end. They are the proof that your beginning is drenched in glory. And this matters. Tears that once felt like weakness are now your weapon. They speak louder than your words. They testify when you remain silent. And they rise before God as a fragrance of trust. Your tears, chosen one, have become your crown. Chosen one. The weight of misunderstanding has been heavy upon you. Few truly grasped who you are or why you carry what you carry. Some judged your silence as weakness. Others mistook your isolation as rejection. Many could not discern the depth of your spirit. So they misnamed you, mislabeled you, even misused you. But listen closely. Misunderstanding has always been part of the journey of those heaven sets apart. Joseph's brothers could not see the dreamer's destiny, so they threw him into a pit. David's family left him in the fields, never imagining he was anointed to be king. Jesus himself was despised and rejected, though he carried the fullness of God within him. You are walking in the same pattern. Misunderstanding feels like loneliness. Yet, it is secretly protection. If everyone had embraced you, you would have been trapped in their expectations. If everyone had approved of you, you would have settled in their approval. God, in His wisdom, allowed misunderstanding to carve space around you, so His voice would be the only one you could not ignore. Think of a sculptor working with stone. With every strike of the chisel, the stone loses pieces of itself. To the untrained eye, it looks like destruction, yet with every strike, a figure begins to emerge. Misunderstanding has been heaven's chisel in your life. People's words, their rejection, their inability to see your value, they all struck you. But what they did not know was that each strike was revealing the design God hid within you. There was once a young man who longed to belong. He bent himself in circles to win approval, but nothing satisfied. He was always too much for some, and not enough for others. At his breaking point, he read the words of the apostle in the first letter to the Corinthians. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. Suddenly, it clicked. The very things others misunderstood were the things God treasured. The labels they cast over him could not erase the name. Heaven had already spoken. So it is with you. The misunderstandings you have faced are not a sign of abandonment, but of identity. They prove that you do not fit into human molds because you were shaped for a heavenly one. Yes, it hurts when people misread you. Yes, it cuts deep when those closest cannot perceive your calling. But these wounds have made you tender, and this tenderness is holy. It means you can carry compassion without bitterness, authority without arrogance, vision without blindness. Chosen one, your rejection has refined you, your loneliness has equipped you, and your misunderstanding has positioned you. Heaven has hidden you in plain sight. And when the time of unveiling comes, even those who doubted will testify that the mark of God was on you all along. The weight of misunderstanding has not broken you. It has shaped you. And in that shaping, you have become a vessel heaven can trust. And take this further. Every moment of being unseen is training you to see deeper. Every time you were misjudged, your spirit learned to discern beyond appearances. One day, the very pain of being misunderstood will empower you to recognize the hidden jewels in others that the world overlooks. Chosen one. The great awakening stirs within you. Something inside is shifting, almost like a curtain being pulled back after years of darkness. You sense it, even if you cannot explain it. The silence that once wrapped around you is thinning. The heaviness that clung to your chest is loosening. And in the unseen realm, angels are now dispatched, their wings brushing against the fabric of your destiny. This is not imagination. It is revelation. Heaven has chosen to lift the veil, the questions that tormented you, the endless waiting. The nights of wondering if God still heard, all of it has been leading to this point. The awakening is not sudden, it is the fruit of your endurance. The very seasons that nearly broke you prepared your spirit to perceive the sound of heaven. There was once a woman who prayed for years without seeing change. She fasted, wept, and often asked why her prayers seemed unanswered. One morning, without warning, she felt a peace she could not explain. The weight lifted. She realized her struggle had not been in vain. It had carved space for the awakening now flooding her soul. Her eyes opened to angelic activity she had never noticed. What seemed ordinary before suddenly glowed with divine significance. Her story is yours. The long night was not wasted. The dawn was being prepared. Think of it this way. Imagine standing in a valley before sunrise. For hours, the darkness hides everything, and you wonder if morning will ever come. Then, in one breathtaking moment, light breaks over the horizon. The mountains, once invisible, now stand majestic. The awakening in your spirit is like that sunrise. It does not create the mountain, it reveals it. Your destiny was always there. Now heaven is unveiling it. The scriptures remind us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." And this word is not a suggestion, it is a declaration. The time for hiding has ended. The light is not approaching, it has arrived, and it rests upon you. Chosen one. The angels are near. They do not come empty-handed. They carry guidance, protection, and strength for what lies ahead. They stand guard so that no weapon formed against you prospers. They whisper courage when fear tries to return. And they fight battles in unseen realms that you never knew existed. This is the awakening, the realization that you are never alone, that the hosts of heaven walk with you into every step of your calling. Now, let me speak directly to your heart. If something inside of you has stirred while listening, that is the awakening already unfolding. It is like a flower beginning to open after the cold of winter. The petals are fragile, yet they reach for the light. And as they open, beauty spills out. And here, chosen one, I extend an invitation, not a demand, not an instruction, but a choice as free as a bird in flight. If this word has awakened something in you, let your action reflect it. Press the heart of this message by liking. Let your voice echo it by sharing. Let your spirit stay connected by subscribing, not because you are told to, but because your soul recognizes the beauty of standing with others who are awakening too. It is like lighting a candle. One flame alone is bright, but when many candles gather, darkness has no place to hide. Your simple choice becomes part of a greater fire, a movement of light spreading from soul to soul. Chosen one. The awakening is here. Step into it and let your life burn as proof that heaven has touched the earth. Chosen one. The prophetic number is being unveiled. Numbers in Scripture are never empty symbols. They are divine fingerprints woven into time. Each carries weight, echo, and meaning that heaven uses to confirm its word over your life. Today, a number has been assigned to you as a seal, an act of alignment between what heaven declares and how you respond. You may wonder, why numbers? Think back to Noah. Rain fell for 40 days. Israel wandered 40 years. Jesus fasted 40 days. Numbers were never random. They were prophetic markers, evidence of divine timing. When you respond to heaven with faith, even through something as simple as declaring a number, you are stepping into alignment with eternity's design. There was a woman who felt lost in a cycle of waiting. For years, she prayed, yet saw no change. One evening, she heard a teaching about prophetic numbers and dismissed it as too simple. But something stirred in her heart, and she chose to respond. She wrote the number assigned in that moment. And later that very week, an opportunity she had prayed for opened unexpectedly. She realized the number had not been magic, it had been her yes to God's timing. It was her alignment that shifted everything. chosen one. This is the invitation now. Heaven has released angels, and a number has been given as confirmation of your summons. That number is 888. Why 888? Because, in biblical understanding, 8 signifies new beginnings, but 3 eights together speak of an overflowing cycle of resurrection and renewal. Just as Jesus rose on the first day of a new week, so too is God calling you into a season where the old is gone and the new is breaking forth. Threefold 8 is heaven's way of saying, your beginning is not small, it is complete, abundant, and irreversible. Think of a river that overflows its banks. At first, it trickles, then it builds, until finally it rushes forward, unstoppable. That is the meaning of 888-inch your life now. You are stepping into a flow that cannot be contained, into a season where angels clear away debris so that living water rushes unhindered. The Word of God speaks in the book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 9. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former, says the Lord of hosts. And in this place I will grant peace. This is the heart of 888. What lies ahead carries more glory than what lies behind. The peace you longed for will no longer be temporary. It will dwell within you. The weight of misunderstanding, the years of tears, the seasons of fire, all of it has prepared you for a greater house, a greater glory, a greater peace. Chosen one. Do not underestimate this act. Writing the number is not about digits on a screen. It is about planting a seed of agreement in the soil of your faith. It is your public way of saying, I align with heaven's timing. I step into my new beginning. And so, when you are ready, I invite you to declare this prophetic act below. Comment 888. Let it be more than numbers. Let it be your testimony. Each time your eyes see those digits, remember that heaven has called your name. Angels have been released, and new beginnings are rushing toward you like a flood. This is your moment. Step into it with courage. Step into it with faith. Step into it with joy. For the doors ahead will not resemble the ones behind you, are walking into greater glory. Chosen one. You are standing at the edge. It feels like a threshold, a place where one step forward can open everything, and one step backward can close it all. The air is charged with unseen tension, almost like the stillness before a storm. Heaven is drawing you close, warning you, this is not a season to drift or delay. This is the place of decision. At the edge, everything feels amplified. Doubts echo louder. Temptations pull harder. Fear whispers more convincingly, yet in the same moment, the voice of God cuts through with clarity, calling you to rise. You may feel caught between breakthrough and blindness, but know this, heaven's call does not waver. It waits for your response. There was once a man who lived in the desert, weary of wandering. He longed for home, yet feared the unknown beyond the horizon. One evening, he stood on a ridge where the sand met fertile land. Behind him stretched wilderness, before him lay promise, but he hesitated. That night he dreamt of a river rising, sweeping away everything that clung to the past. When he woke, he knew to stay meant perishing in the desert. To step forward was life. His story is your mirror. You too are standing on such a ridge. The Word of God speaks in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Then, this is what it means to stand at the edge. Choices are no longer casual. Every step has eternal weight. You may think you are small, but your obedience or resistance shapes more than just your own story. Think of a tightrope stretched between two cliffs. To stand still feels safer, but the rope was made to be crossed, not clung to. You were not designed to remain suspended in hesitation. You were designed to move. Fear would rather keep you frozen. Convincing you safety lies in staying where you are. But heaven whispers otherwise. Safety is in obedience. Chosen one. The edge is not punishment, it is invitation. God has brought you here not to terrify you, but to reveal how close you are to stepping into fulfillment. You feel the tension because destiny is near. You sense the urgency because angels are aligning paths around you. Do not despise this place. The edge is holy ground. It is the same place Abraham stood when asked to lay Isaac on the altar. It is the same place Moses stood when the sea parted. It is the same place Esther stood when she entered the king's court, uninvited. Each of them faced the edge, and each discovered that obedience opens what fear cannot. Your edge may not look like theirs. For you, it might be the call to forgive someone who broke you. It might be the step of faith into an assignment that feels too big. It might be laying down a secret compromise no one else sees. But whatever form it takes, the principle is the same. One step forward in faith changes everything. So, do not tremble as though this edge will destroy you. See it for what it is, the doorway to your next season. Heaven would not have brought you here if you were not ready. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge, not to fall, but to cross. Once you step forward, the wilderness will lose its hold, and the promised horizon will open wide. Chosen one, your light terrifies darkness. You may not realize the weight you carry, but the enemy does. That is why battles have always seemed fiercer around you. That is why opposition rises when you step into new territory. It is not because you are weak, it is because your light unsettles what thrives in shadow. Darkness cannot coexist with light. The moment a flame enters a room, shadows retreat. In the same way, when you walk into a place, whether it be a workplace, a conversation, or even your family gathering, things shift. Atmospheres stir. The unseen trembles. People may not be able to explain it, but your presence reveals what is hidden. Think of how Jesus walked into villages. Demons cried out before he spoke a word. Why? Because light had entered. In the same way, the very fact that you are present disrupts darkness. You carry within you the Spirit of the living God, and that Spirit shines. Even when you are unaware, there was once a young believer who never thought of himself as significant, have felt ordinary, unnoticed. But he began to notice something strange. When he entered rooms, tension rose. Conversations shifted. People seemed agitated without cause. At first, he thought it was rejection. Later, he realized it was resistance. His light had unsettled what was hidden in others. The discomfort was proof of his impact. His story mirrors yours. The scriptures remind us in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." This is your truth. Darkness does not overpower light. It never has, and it never will. What feels like warfare against you is actually fear of what you carry. The enemy trembles, not because of your weakness, but because your light exposes his schemes. Think of a lighthouse on a stormy coast. Ships caught in the tempest, sea waves towering like mountains, winds roaring without mercy. Yet in the distance, the steady beam of the lighthouse breaks through. It does not stop the storm, but it makes the storm powerless to deceive. That is your light. It may not silence every storm, but it ensures no one near you remains lost in darkness. Chosen one, remember this: the resistance you face is evidence of your radiance. The intimidation you sense is proof of your authority. Hell does not war against those who carry nothing. It wages war against those who threaten its dominion. So do not shrink back. Do not dim what God has lit. Your light is not fragile, it is eternal. Every prayer you whisper strengthens its flame. Every act of obedience brightens its reach. Every time you stand in faith, darkness loses ground. You have walked through seasons where you wondered why people resisted you without reason. You questioned if something was wrong with you. The truth is, something was very right. You carried light they could not understand, and what they could not define. They resisted. Chosen one, never fear the darkness. It fears you. And as long as you keep walking, your light will keep breaking shadows until all that remains is glory. And even more, this light within you is not borrowed. It is planted. It grows. It deepens. It spreads, until even the hidden corners around you cannot escape its reach. Chosen one, you are now standing between crown or chains. Heaven has brought you to this crossroad, and the decision before you is weighty. Every choice carries ripple effects. Obedience draws you into freedom, while rebellion binds you to captivity. It is not exaggeration. It is the eternal law woven into creation itself. From the beginning, humanity has faced this same decision. Adam and Eve reached for the fruit and chose chains. Israel, standing before the promised land, hesitated and wandered longer in the desert. Yet others, like Ruth, who chose loyalty, and Daniel, who chose devotion, found themselves crowned with favor and lasting legacy. You are not exempt from this pattern. You are part of it. Crown or chains. This has always been the battlefield. The crown is not merely about glory or recognition. It represents authority, identity, the weight of heaven resting upon you. Chains, on the other hand, are the slow corrosion of compromise, the tightening grip of fear, the false comfort of settling where you were never meant to stay. There was a young man who wrestled with this very choice. Temptation came in the form of comfort, whispering, "Stay where you are. Do not risk the unknown." Yet inside, his spirit burned for more. He saw glimpses of what life could be if he stepped forward in faith, but the cost seemed high. In the end, he chose surrender to God. And though it cost him friendships and opportunities, it birthed a destiny far greater than he could have orchestrated. His choice was the difference between chains and crown. The scriptures declare in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life the Lord has promised to those who love him." Now, this is the promise: your perseverance is not wasted. Every test, Every moment you refuse to bow to darkness. Every tear you refuse to let harden your heart. It all builds toward the crown of life. Think of a blacksmith's forge. Metal is placed into fire, hammered again and again, until it becomes strong and unbreakable. Chains and crowns both come from the same fire. What makes the difference is the shaping. Chains remain bound together in loops of limitation. Crowns are shaped with intention, designed to rest upon the head of the chosen. The fire you endure will either bind you or crown you, depending on the surrender of your heart. Chosen one. This is not about perfection, it is about direction. Every step you take toward obedience is a step closer to the crown. Every compromise leads closer to chains. The beauty is that right now, in this moment, you still hold the choice. And here, I invite you to declare it in faith. Comment below. I rise crowned. These 3 words are more than a phrase. They are a testimony. They declare you are not bowed under chains, but lifted by glory. They remind you that your trials are not wasted. They are shaping your royalty. And they announce to darkness that you step forward, not defeated, but crowned with life. Chosen one. Crown or chains, the choice is before you. And heaven already knows you were called to wear glory. And remember this also, your crown is not merely for you, it becomes light for others. Proof that endurance bears fruit. And hope for those still wrestling at their own crossroad between captivity and destiny. Chosen one. Your divine assignment is being released. The veil is lifting, and what was once hidden is now coming into focus. For years, you felt like you were walking in circles, but in truth, heaven was aligning you step by step. The time of wandering is giving way to the time of clarity. Angels have been dispatched, and their task is to guide you into the mission for which you were created. Think of a seed buried in the soil. For weeks, perhaps months, nothing can be seen above the ground. To those passing by, it looks lifeless. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming, pushing deep, preparing to break forth. Your hidden years have been the same. They were not wasted, they were necessary. Without roots, the weight of destiny would have crushed you. But now the roots are strong, and the sprout of purpose is breaking through. Your assignment is not something small. It carries eternal weight. When God marks a person, He does not send them into the world empty-handed. He places within them gifts, experiences, even wounds that become tools for impact. What you thought were random hardships were in fact training. Every tear, every season of fire, every moment of rejection, they were chiseling your soul into the shape needed to carry this assignment. The scriptures remind us in the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 10, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus, to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." This means your mission is not being invented now. It was prepared long before. You were crafted like an instrument tuned for a specific melody. When the moment comes, you will fit perfectly into the song heaven is already singing over the earth. Think of an arrow resting in the hands of an archer. For a long time, it waits, still and unused. Then, suddenly, the string is drawn back. Tension rises, and the arrow is released. The wait was not idleness, it was preparation. And when the arrow flies, It does not wander. It hits its mark. Chosen one. You are that arrow. Heaven has been drawing you back. And now the release has come. There was once a young woman who felt invisible. For years, she wondered if her life mattered. Then one day she realized that the skills she had quietly developed in silence, her compassion, her ability to listen, her words of encouragement were tools God had been shaping. When the moment came to step into her calling, she discovered that her years of obscurity were training for her mission. She learned that no season is wasted when heaven is the teacher. Your assignment may not look like someone else's. For some, it will be leading nations. For others, it will be raising children who shift history. For some, it will be standing on platforms. For others, it will be quietly interceding in prayer. Do not despise your measure. Each role is part of the great tapestry. Each thread essential for the masterpiece to shine. And here I extend a gentle, beautiful invitation. If this word stirs your heart, let your action reflect your agreement with heaven. Press like as though planting a seed in fertile soil. Share this message as though lighting a candle in another's darkness. Subscribe as though joining hands with a family, walking the same road of destiny. Not because you are forced, not because anyone demands it, but because something in your spirit recognizes, this is my moment. This is my awakening. This is my assignment. Oh, chosen one. The divine assignment is not waiting for tomorrow. It has been released today. Step into it boldly, for angels walk beside you, and heaven watches with joy as you take your place in the story of eternity. Chosen one. The angelic guard has surrounded you, though your eyes may not always see it. The unseen realm is alive, with movements on your behalf. Angels have been stationed like watchmen on the walls of your life, their swords drawn, their eyes fixed, their purpose unwavering. They were sent not as decoration, but as defense. There are moments you felt unprotected, times when attacks came so fiercely that you wondered if heaven had left you uncovered. Yet in truth, you would not have survived those seasons without angelic intervention. How many accidents were averted that you never saw? How many traps were dismantled before they reached your feet? How many arrows of the enemy were deflected in the night? The scriptures remind us in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. This promise is not symbolic, it is literal. Angels are assigned to your path. They walk with you in hidden alleys, in crowded rooms, in quiet nights when no one else is near. They are heaven's soldiers, dispatched at the sound of God's command. And their presence ensures that you are never alone. Think of Elisha's servant in the ancient story. Fear gripped him when he saw an army surrounding their city. But Elisha prayed, Lord, open his eyes. And suddenly the servant saw what had been invisible chariots of fire, horses blazing, angels covering the hills. The enemy army looked vast, but heaven's guard was greater. So it is with you. The opposition you face may appear intimidating, yet beyond the veil, heaven's host encircles you. Imagine standing in a battlefield with arrows flying. To the natural eye, you appear exposed, but in truth, a shield dome surrounds you. Arrows touch the barrier, but cannot penetrate. That is the work of the angelic guard. They absorb what was meant to pierce you. They shift the trajectory of attacks. They stand in gaps, you did not even know were vulnerable. There was once a man who drove long hours through dangerous roads each night. One evening, his car spun out of control. By all logic, the accident should have taken his life. Yet somehow, his vehicle slid into safety, untouched. Later, he recalled feeling as though invisible hands had steadied the wheel. He realized then angels had intervened. What seemed like coincidence was, in fact, covenant. His survival was testimony that heaven guards its chosen one. Your angelic guard is not passive. They war. They confront. They dismantle. You have walked through storms that others did not survive. Not because you were stronger, but because you were surrounded. Your guard was active, even in your weakest moments. Think also of a shepherd watching over sheep. Wolves lurk at the edges, but the flock is unaware. The shepherd's staff and presence hold them back. In the same way, the angelic guard has kept back more than you can imagine. What you thought was luck or timing was really heaven's army, ensuring that your destiny would not be cut short. And understand this, angels do not serve you because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You belong to the King, and as his chosen, his orders govern your protection. You are valuable to heaven's story, and therefore guarded by heaven's army. So walk with courage. Fear will still attempt to whisper, but you now know the truth. The hills around you blaze with chariots of fire. The ground beneath you is encircled by warriors of light. You are a defended, not abandoned, chosen one. The angelic guard has been assigned to your life, and because of them, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Chosen one. The prophetic act is before you. All throughout history, God has called his people to respond not only with their hearts, but with symbolic actions. Noah built before the flood. Joshua marched before the walls fell. And Elisha struck the ground before victory appeared. These acts looked simple, even foolish. Yet in heaven, they were powerful seals. Today, you are invited into a similar act. Angels have been released. Your name has been called. But now, heaven places before you a prophetic number as confirmation of your covenant alignment. That number is 333. Why 333? The number 3 in Scripture is a holy pattern. It speaks of fullness and divine completion, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Jesus rose on the third day, marking new life and unstoppable victory. When the number is tripled, it is heaven's emphatic seal. This is firmly established, affirmed, and cannot be undone. So, 333 declares that your life is held in the fullness of God's presence. It reminds you that you are not walking in fragments, but in divine wholeness. It is a number of resurrection. What was dead will live again. It is a number of witness, heaven, earth, and spirit, all in agreement. It is a number of strength. Your foundation is not fragile, but secured in God himself. Think of a cord of 3 strands. Alone, each thread might snap, but woven together, they cannot be easily broken. 333 is that cord. A reminder that you are bound in the unity of Father, Son, and Spirit. You are held where nothing can tear you apart. The scriptures echo this in Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 12. Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. This is the seal of 333. Your life is woven with divine strength. Your path is shielded. Your destiny is not breakable because it is braided with eternity. There was once a woman who felt scattered, as if her life was in pieces. Her strength failed. Her dreams felt lost. Her faith wavered. Then she encountered this number, Sambai Senshisan, and it struck her spirit. She realized that though she felt divided, heaven was weaving her together in divine unity. Her story became one of restoration, of wholeness, of completion. What seemed broken was actually being bound into something unbreakable. So, chosen one, this is your act. Let it be written. Let it be declared. Comment below. 333. Not as empty digits, but as a prophetic stand. When you write it, you testify, I belong to the fullness of God. I am bound in His unity. My life cannot be broken. End of Chosen One. The act is simple, but its power is eternal. 333 is your seal, your confirmation that you are held, whole, and unshakable in Him. And beyond this moment, let 333 become your reminder. When doubt creeps in, see the threefold witness. When storms rise, recall the threefold strand. When loneliness whispers, remember, you are never alone, for Father, Son, and Spirit encircle you like an unbreakable circle. You may falter, but you will not be broken. You may bend, but you will not snap. Every time you see 333, let your heart remember, you are established. You are complete. You are sealed. This is more than a number. It is a covenant echo that follows you into every tomorrow. Chosen one. This is the hour of the final temptation. You have endured seasons of fire, of tears, of misunderstanding, and of waiting. Yet now, as you stand closer than ever to your promised destiny, the weight of testing intensifies. It is not a sign of failure, but of nearness. The fiercest storm always strikes at the edge of breakthrough. The enemy does not waste his sharpest weapons on those who pose no threat. He reserves his fiercest attacks for those carrying crowns. That is why the temptation you feel now is not ordinary, it is strategic. It seeks not just to distract you, but to derail the mission heaven has entrusted to you. There was once a prophet who endured years of obscurity, carrying visions no one else believed. When the moment of his unveiling approached, he faced the greatest temptation of his life. It was not temptation to sin openly, but to compromise quietly, to water down his message, to trade authenticity for acceptance. And in that choice lay the path of destiny or destruction. By God's grace, he stood firm. His story mirrors yours. The temptation you face is not just about an action, it is about identity. The scriptures remind us in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 1, Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. Even the Son of God faced the wilderness. His temptation came not when he was weak, but when he was about to begin his ministry. After 40 days of fasting, at the very threshold of his mission, the enemy appeared with offers that seemed easier, quicker, more attractive. But Jesus answered with truth, and his refusal unlocked the power of his assignment. Chosen one. Understand this. Temptation often dresses itself as relief. It whispers, "You've carried too much. Ease the burden here." Or, No one will notice if you compromise just once. But relief is not the same as freedom. What seems like comfort can become chains. Think of a sailor navigating through stormy seas. The waves pound, the winds howl, and the shore looks distant. Suddenly, a voice tempts him to drop anchor in the middle of the storm. It seems like rest, but anchoring in the wrong place would destroy him. To endure means pressing forward, even through the raging winds, until safe harbor appears. So it is with you. The final temptation is fierce because it knows your crown is near. Chains have not held you. Tears have not drowned you. Fire has not consumed you. So now the enemy tries the last strategy: persuasion, a quiet whisper, a subtle compromise, a gentle nudge towards surrender. Resist it, for on the other side of this storm lies a victory greater than all your past trials combined. There was once a young woman, faithful for many years, who reached the edge of her calling. Then came the temptation to walk away. Doors slammed, friends betrayed. Pressure rose. Everything in her whispered it would be easier to quit. Yet she pressed forward, and just beyond her endurance, breakthrough burst forth. What was hidden unfolded, and her perseverance became her testimony. Chosen one, your perseverance is your weapon. Your refusal to bow is your victory. Your unwavering faith is your crown in waiting. Do not be deceived. This temptation is not forever. It is a passing storm, loud but temporary, fierce but limited. And when the storm clears, you will not only stand, you will shine. Your victory will not just be personal, it will ripple through generations. For the final temptation is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prove that you were chosen all along. Chosen one. Unseen victories have already been won on your behalf. You may not realize it, but battles were fought in secret. Struggles you never even saw, and victories were secured before you stepped into them. When you thought you were abandoned, heaven was active. When you believed silence meant neglect, angels were at war. There are times you prayed and heard no answer, but the absence of sound was not the absence of action. Just as Daniel prayed and his answer was delayed because an angel battled the prince of Persia, so too have your prayers stirred unseen warfare. The silence you felt was often the sound of swords clashing in invisible realms. Think of it this way. A seed rests beneath the soil. Nothing appears on the surface. Days stretch into weeks, and the ground looks unchanged. Yet underground, roots are spreading. Foundations are strengthening. Life is forming. In the same way, when nothing seemed to move in your life, unseen victories were taking root, waiting for their appointed time to break forth. The scriptures remind us in the second book of Kings, chapter 6, verse 16, "Don't be afraid." The prophet answered, "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. This is the truth you live in. You are not outnumbered, no matter how it appears. The unseen hosts of heaven are greater than every visible obstacle, and every victory they win is credited to your journey, preparing the ground for you to walk in. There was once a man who worked tirelessly but saw little fruit. Each season ended with disappointment, and he wondered if God had forgotten him. Yet one morning, everything shifted. A promotion came unexpectedly. A relationship healed suddenly. A door opened without warning. Only later did he understand those blessings were not sudden at all. They were the unveiling of victories already won on his behalf, long before he saw them. His story mirrors yours. What looks sudden is often the unveiling of unseen triumphs. Consider also the story of Esther. Long before she entered the king's court, unseen victories were unfolding. A queen was deposed. A plot was exposed. A path was made clear. Esther only stepped into what God had already arranged. Her courage mattered, but it was carried on victories heaven had secured in secret. Chosen one. You are walking on the ground heaven has cleared. You are drinking from wells you did not dig. You are benefiting from battles you did not fight. Do not despise the silence of waiting seasons. Those were the times when victories were stacking, layer upon layer, to prepare you for what is now unfolding. Think of a mountain climber who reaches the summit. The final steps feel glorious. But the unseen victories were in the hours of training, the battles against fatigue, the resistance against giving up. The summit is only possible because of unseen victories along the way. So it is with your destiny. Every rejection that redirected you was a hidden victory. Every closed door that frustrated you was a silent rescue. Every delay that tested you was a shield against premature exposure. These moments felt painful, but in heaven's records, they are counted as victories already won for you. Chosen one, lift your eyes. You are not stepping into a battlefield unprepared. You are stepping onto ground already conquered. And the victories you did not see will soon become the testimonies you cannot ignore. Chosen one, the scrolls of heaven are opening. What was hidden is being revealed. And within those sacred records, your name shines from the beginning. Long before you were seen by men, you were inscribed in the writings of eternity. Every tear, every prayer, every act of obedience has been recorded. Not lost, not forgotten. Picture a great library of light, shelves stretching beyond sight, each book glowing with living fire. In the quiet of heaven's courts, angels move through these aisles, carrying scrolls to the throne. One of those scrolls bears your name. It is not written in fading ink, but in indelible flame. Your story is etched into eternity, and now the time has come for it to be read aloud. The scriptures remind us in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 5, the one who is victorious will, like them, be dressed in white. I will never blot out the name of that person from the book of life, but will acknowledge that name before my Father and his angels. This is no mere promise, it is proclamation. Your name is known. Your destiny is preserved. Your calling is acknowledged before heaven's highest throne. Think of a courtroom where cases are decided, evidence is presented, arguments weighed. But imagine this, before your accuser even speaks. The judge lifts a scroll with your name and declares, "This one is mine." That is the power of heaven's scrolls. They silence accusation, cancel condemnation, and affirm identity. There was once a man who felt unseen, overlooked by all around him. Every effort seemed wasted, every gift unnoticed. Yet one night, in prayer, he saw in a vision a scroll unrolling with his name upon it. The moment he saw it, his heart shifted. He realized he was never overlooked, he was always known. Soon after, opportunities emerged. Doors opened, and his calling unfolded. But his confidence was no longer in men's recognition. It was in heaven's scroll, chosen one. When the scrolls open, angels rejoice. They read aloud the victories you thought were small. They sing over the perseverance you thought was unnoticed. Heaven does not forget. Heaven does not misplace what you offered in secret, what you endured in silence, what you sacrificed without applause. It is all written, and now it is being unveiled. Think of a seed buried deep, invisible to the world. At last, the soil breaks, and the sprout pushes through. The scroll opening is that moment. What was hidden beneath layers of time and trial is now breaking forth. Your identity is no longer concealed, it is revealed. And now, allow me to extend an invitation, not a demand, but a choice as gentle as sunlight falling on open hands. If this word has touched your heart, let your action become part of the testimony. Press like as though signing your agreement on heaven's scroll. Share this message as though passing the torch of light to another soul still searching. Subscribe as though stepping into a family where scrolls are read aloud together, reminding each member of who they are. And finally, mark your agreement with words. Leave a comment below. A simple sentence, an echo of faith. Let it be your signature that you, too, have heard your name called in heaven, not because you are compelled, but because your spirit longs to stand in harmony with the truth already written. Chosen one. The scrolls are open. Your name is shining, and heaven is rejoicing. Step boldly, for what was once hidden is now declared before angels and before the throne. Chosen one. This is the moment of stepping into glory, the journey of fire, tears, misunderstanding, and hidden victories has all led here. What once felt like endless preparation now reveals itself as unveiling. You are not only surviving, you are ascending. Glory is no longer distant. It is rising around you like dawn breaking over shadowed mountains. Glory is not the applause of people, nor is it fleeting recognition. True glory is the weight of God's presence resting upon you, transforming you, shining through you. It is heaven's atmosphere clothing your life so that everywhere you step, light spills into darkness. Think of Moses descending from Mount Sinai. His face radiated with light after encountering God, so much so that others could not look directly at him. He had no crown in his hands, no title on his chest. Yet the glory resting on him testified louder than words. In the same way, glory is not something you manufacture. It is something you carry because heaven has chosen you. Chosen one. Glory is heavy because it is holy. It demands humility, not pride. It calls you deeper into surrender, not into performance. Many long for glory, but few can bear its weight. Yet the very trials that nearly broke you have prepared you to carry it. Every season of fire has forged resilience. Every tear has deepened compassion. Every misunderstanding has purified your motives. All of this has stretched your spirit to hold what now rests upon you. The scriptures remind us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 18, and we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, the Spirit. Glory is not static. It grows, layer upon layer, shining brighter the more you yield. You are not meant to carry yesterday's measure. You are meant to increase. Each step forward, each act of obedience, each moment of trust adds another measure of light upon you. There was once a woman who felt ordinary in every way. She never sought recognition, never sought status. Yet people around her began to notice something different. When she spoke, peace filled the room. When she prayed, burdens lifted. When she entered a place, heaviness seemed to break. She realized later it was not about her ability, it was glory resting on her life. Her hidden seasons had prepared her to radiate without striving. Think of a sunrise over a frozen valley. For hours, the land lies in shadows, silent and cold. But when the first light crests the horizon, frost begins to sparkle, and what was lifeless glows with beauty. That is what stepping into glory feels like. Nothing in the valley changed the mountains, the fields, the rivers remain the same. Yet the light transforms everything it touches. So it is with you. Glory will not erase your past, but it will transform the meaning of it. Chosen one, as you step into this season, understand, glory is not only for you. It spills outward, touching those around you. It becomes refuge for the weary, hope for the broken, courage for the fearful. You carry what others are searching for, not because of who you are, but because of who rests upon you. Chosen one, the time has come. Step into glory, unafraid. You have been prepared, refined, and chosen for this very hour. And as you walk, heaven's light will clothe you, and the earth will see what it means to carry the weight of God's presence. Chosen one, now comes the hour of crown and unstoppable destiny. Everything you have endured, the fire, the tears, the weight of misunderstanding, the battles seen and unseen, was never in vain. Each season was a thread woven by divine hands into a crown prepared for your head. That crown is not a symbol of earthly recognition. It is heaven's testimony that you endured, that you overcame, that you remained faithful when others fell away. Crowns are not given in moments of ease. They are forged in the furnace of struggle. Every trial has shaped its edges. Every sleepless night has added to its brilliance. Every time you stood when it would have been easier to fall, another jewel was set in place. Your crown is not ornamental, it is evidence. Evidence that grace held you, that angels guarded you, that the hand of God never left your life. The scriptures remind us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 3, "You will be a crown of splendor in the Lord's hand, a royal diadem in the hand of your God." Then, this crown is not just a promise for someday, it is an identity for now. You are carried in His hand, not cast aside. You are lifted as a royal diadem, a sign that heaven delights in you. This is more than recognition, it is placement. You are not lost in the crowd, you are held in the palm of God, displayed as His glory. Think of a warrior returning from battle. His armor bears scars. His body carries fatigue. But upon his head rests a crown of victory. The crown does not erase the wounds. It honors them. It declares that every strike he endured was not wasted. So it is with you. The scars you carry are not shame. They are honor. They testify that you fought, endured, and overcame. There was once a young woman who felt like life had stolen everything from her. She bore wounds of betrayal, loss, and constant disappointment. Yet she continued to pray, continued to believe, continued to whisper hope even when she had little strength. Years later, she found herself speaking to others with authority, comforting the broken, lifting the weary. People often asked, "How do you carry such strength?" She smiled and replied, "Because I carry a crown." Her crown was invisible to the world, but undeniable in its effect. Her story mirrors yours. Chosen one. Unstoppable means this: no scheme of darkness can hold you. No chain can bind what heaven has crowned. No storm can strip away what eternity has decreed. The forces that once opposed you will now bow, because you walk not in your own power, but in heaven's authority. Think of a river bursting its banks. Nothing can contain its flow once the waters rise. Obstacles that once blocked it are swept away. That is you now. The crown upon your life signals a flow of destiny that cannot be dammed. The years of delay are breaking. The barriers of resistance are shattering. And the current of your calling is rushing forward. And know this: your crown is not just personal. It is generational. What rests on you will ripple to those after you. The authority you walk in will open doors for others. The light you carry will spark flames in those still waiting for awakening. Your crown is both your inheritance and your gift to those who will follow. Chosen one. Lift your head. The crown is upon you. Walk in it boldly. Carry it humbly. And let it shine as testimony that you are unstoppable, not because of your strength, but because of the one who called your name in heaven. Chosen one. You have reached the end of this message, but not the end of your journey. What has been spoken over you is not theory, not coincidence. It is destiny. The angels have been released. Your name has been called, and your crown is secure. Think of this moment like standing on a mountain peak. Behind you are valleys of trial, deserts of waiting, nights of tears. Ahead of you stretches a horizon painted with light, evidence that glory is not just promised, but present. The path you take from here carries weight, but you are no longer walking unaware. You are walking awakened. Every word you heard was heaven's way of whispering, you are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are chosen. And this truth demands response not from compulsion, but from gratitude, from joy, from recognition that something in your spirit has been stirred. So, I invite you gently, beautifully, freely. Press like as though planting your own stone of remembrance, saying, "This moment marked me." Share this message as though passing a torch into another's darkness, because someone else is waiting for light. Subscribe as though choosing to stay connected to a family of chosen ones, those walking the same road of destiny. And comment below with words of faith, even a simple sentence, so that your testimony is written, not just in your heart, but in this space of witness. Do this not because you are told, but because you sense the beauty of joining your story to something eternal. Chosen one. You are unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. Your name was called in heaven, and the earth will soon see the evidence. Step forward. Now your season has begun.